Hello! I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago, but people still have a lot of questions about the buffs in Asgard. So we just want to kind of go over them again and just kind of, I guess, rank the buffs, I guess. So the buffs you have, right, you have gold buffs. So we'll start with these because these are straightforward. So the ranking on these, you do want to do defense tier disorder. This is by far the most important one. If you can only buy, like I said, if you only want to buy one buff or whatever, like, buy this one 5 times if you can. Like, this by far is the most important of the buffs. Then you'd probably want defense tier override for protect you. Wormhole Suppressor. Like I said, this one can be good. Meteors of Haste, this gives you extra speed. Like I said, I'd probably do 1 through 5, 1 through 5 so second, 1 through 5 third, 1 through 5 fourth. Jumpstart. So Jumpstart, each rank adds 5% starting energy, but this does not stack with Sebastian's Public Idol ability. So it'll actually just override it. So if you buy this buff, like, so instead of Sebastian starts the battle 70% energy or whatever, he'll start with whatever your jumpstart is. So this is can be really bad. Since Sebastian's ends up being the best hero versus the boss, might be a buff you just want to skip entirely. So I would just, like I said, might be a hot take, but this might be a buff you just don't want to buy at all. I mean, or if you want to do your fight your line with Sebastian first, then buy this after the fact for your other teams. But Jumpstart, like I said, because it doesn't stack Public Idol, is kind of a no good thing, and Sebastian just happens to be the best hero versus the boss. So skip that one. Then we get to the emblem buff. So these ones have already changed every week. Last week this was an uncommon buff. This week it's an epic buff. So instead of being 7% extra damage, it's 25% extra damage. So this makes it a lot better, but it's 3 times the cost. This one was epic buff last week, and it was 5% for sphere on the final hit, and that's just 2% energy. I mean, that buff is okay. I mean, it's a little bit of extra energy. I mean, 2 to 5% though is not really gonna make a difference for most people. But anyway, so let's rank the buff. So Healing Converter is the best buff by far. I mean, this lets your, like, any extra healing you do gets turned into pure damage. So this ends up being pretty much the best buff of all because it kills the spheres. It can also power up Albus's ult, so you can do more damage, and Albus always hits the boss. So this right here is the best way to increase damage for your teams. So this is always a must-have, no matter what ranking it is. This is the first buff you want to buy. Healing Converter, right? Like I said, first buff you always buy. That is the go-to. Other good buffs I would say are must-have are Chose by the Stars. This increases your healing by healers when Meteor Shower's up. Meteor Showers can do a lot of damage, so this is, like I said, really important to survive, but also, again, stacks with Healing Converter for extra damage, so I'd say that's the second one. And then third one, Keeper's Blessing. So when Asha awakens, the hero that dealt the most damage before Planet Parade will gain 10% more stats, so your primary damage dealer, which would be, like say, if you're using your Sebastian's probably going to be the primary damage dealer. This is going to be a buff for Sebastian. 10% more stats means 10% more attacks, so they will do that much more damage. So yes, this is definitely something you want to have. So those three right there. Healing Converter, Chosen by the Stars, Keeper's Blessing, those are the must-have buffs. You should definitely buy those buffs every time. And then after that, the buff quality kind of drops up quite a bit. After that, Marksman Opportunity, if they use their ultimate during Planet Parade or Quasar Light, they'll gain 30% extra energy. I mean, this could be good for, like, a Jew, since Jew's like a marksman. He's like said, but if you're not using Marksman, though, if for whatever reason you don't have Jew, or you're just using Marksman, this is not that good of a buff. Stellar Tank Resistance is pretty good just because it lets your tank take 10% less damage from defense spheres. And defense spheres in the higher levels can do a lot of damage. This one's pretty good. Survivor's Willpower. This gives you extra healing, but only if there's like I said, if you're inflicted by nightmare visions. So it can be good. Like, it's just still, it's kind of eh. So Astral Shield, like, this triggers once per battle, but if you have any defense tiers explode in the wormhole, this will prevent the damage from them. So if there's 3 or more defense tiers, like I said, I've seen teams wipe against higher level bosses because they didn't beat that first round of defense tiers, and they end up in the wormhole, cause a lot of damage. So this one could be good. So, but yeah, so what would be the fourth buff after these? It's really hard, but Seer Energy Unleashed, I mean, it helps. It's kind of weak, but it helps all of them. Stellar Tank Resistance, like I said, you're usually using tanks, maybe not with like the Stone Cold line, but tanks are good for a lot of them. Like, just being able to survive long enough for Albus to do a hit on a boss on your weaker teams, can make a lot, could add up. So these ones are okay. Immortal Hero, hero that does the most damage, immortality for 7 seconds. This can add some extra damage, like if they, like I said, they survive that long. But usually if your heroes are surviving that long, you probably didn't need Immortal Hero, so it's kind of like, it's good only when you're already doing well. Dreamer's Retaliation lets you makes it easier to kill the nightmares if they're appearing. Ideally, you wouldn't have nightmares appearing, but sometimes that's not possible. But this one I'd say is better than Nightmare's energy, right? This one, extra energy for nightmares triggered. So it's just kind of, like I said, after those top 3 buffs, it's like other buffs you want to look at are this one, Seer Energy Unleashed, Astral Shield, Stellar Tank Resistance, Survivor's Willpower, Immortal Hero, Marks Up to Dream Retaliation, Nightmare Energy. I would not buy any of these ones, like Resilient Grove requires you have all 3 of the Grove Keep stuff thing. That's bad. Wakeful Undead. It's grants per buff. There's 3 undead. Each team has a 20% chance. Like I said, these are just weak buffs. Like, and you have to have 3 specific heroes, and so it means these buffs only work with one specific line. These might be okay. Like I said, no, it's grants a buff. So if you have 3 engineers, they do 2% damage to the Stardome. So if you're using Isaac, Fox, and Ginger together, they do 2% damage to the start. Like, no, these are bad, so don't touch these ones. This one is pretty bad. Insomnia, like, you can't give more than 4 nightmares. Like, if you got 4 nightmares, it's pretty much game over. So this is bad. This one's bad. So, right. So really, like I said, that's just kind of my thoughts on the buffs. Make sure you get Healing Converter, Keeper's Blessing, Chosen by the Stars, definitely. And then from there, like, it just kind of depends what you want. Marksman Opportunity, we had Stellar Tank, Astral Shield, Seer Energy Unleashed, Immortal Hero, Survivor's Willpower, Dreamer's Retaliation, Nightmare Energy. Those are the ones you should be considering. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video fun and informative. Thank you for watching.